times must I tell you? You must never put your life on the line for me.
Mother has always had a fascination for Lord Mortimer, but has never wanted to tell me why.
We are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible. Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine.
All I can tell you is I'm looking for my sister.
Do you believe your mother capable of torturing a child?
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer assured me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother.
Johann Christoph von Wollner, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Jacques Peroux, French Revolutionary Tribunal Judge. You will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet. Monsieur de Richet, I am arresting you for the murder of Elizabeth Adams.
Здравствуйте, дорогие дамы и господа, вы на канале Playlikearussians, меня зовут Александр, и мы с вами продолжаем изучать всякое в The Council. Так начинается вторая глава. В конце прошлой серии эта растатуированная тварь набухала нас алкоголем с опиумом. Мы вырубились, она вскрылась, и теперь нас в этом всем деле охрененно обвиняют. Я так понимаю, желтое это то, что у нас типа выучено. Соберите все вот эти вот хреновины. Так, политика, эрудиция, наука. Что у нас в навыках есть? Что может подкачаться? Вот, уклонение или этикет. Есть тут этикет или уклонение? Есть этикет, давайте. Хрена кабинетик. Такими уж церкви строят. Эпизод 2. Hide and seek. Вот он, лорд Мортимер.
Is there nothing you want to say, Louis?
It wasn't me. I didn't kill her.
I'd much rather have met you under different circumstances.
Lord Mortimer, believe me, I'm very conscious of the gravity of the situation. Everything seems to point to me as the one who killed Elizabeth, but I swear I am innocent.
Out of respect for your mother, rest assured that I do want to believe you.
And all I want is to be able to prove it to you. When do we start?
We already have. Tell me, Louis, how do you feel?
I feel like a rat trapped in a maze.
Interesting.
I beg your pardon?
Sarah also felt like she was trapped like an animal.
Where are you going with this, my lord?
Sarah's behavior grew odd before her disappearance. Her attitude changed. She became prey to outbursts of violence and a number of temporary absences. I'm just trying to make sure that you don't go getting lost like your mother did.
You're not suggesting that I might have killed Elizabeth and that I don't remember, are you?
I don't know, Louis. It's just that what with your mother and now you, it's rather a lot. The more I take stock of the situation, the more I'm under the impression that you've been set up. But before going any further, I must inform you that Sir Gregory is about to arrive. He is coming to question you about the murder of poor Elizabeth, whom he was very fond of. He is quite determined to find the culprit, whomever they may be. So,
Вскрылась она сама.
convince him of your innocence. Then we can continue this conversation.
William, I would like to see you a moment.
Подождите, кстати. Мы еще кого-то не открыли. И у нас вообще практически нету слабостей. Мгм.
Before we begin,
Мне кажется, тот, кто не открыт, тот и этот.
Let's step outside a
Тот и
moment.
главное говно, наверное.
Louis, this will only take a few moments.
Угу. Не, конечно, мы обыщем комнату.
Let's take this chance to look around.
Показания. Когда месье Бонапарта спросили, что он делал вчера ночью, он ответил, разговаривал с лордом, все с сэром и мистер Уитакер, вывел сэр Грегори.
Please, sit back down, Louis.
this sort of behavior is not working in your favor, young man. Monsieur de Richet, you were found standing over Miss Adams' body. We must shed some light on your responsibility in this tragedy. We shall then decide on your fate. But you must know that if you do not convince us of your innocence, it will cost you dearly. Now you are going to tell us everything that happened last night, without leaving any detail out. First things first, how did your evening begin?
Давайте попробуем.
I was in the corridor and I was about to go to bed. Elizabeth appeared as if from nowhere and rushed toward me. She took me by the arm and led me to her room.
You say she led you? All right, we'll accept that. Continue.
We were heading for our rooms when Elizabeth burst into the corridor, barely dressed. She was panic-stricken and insisted on speaking to me. So I found myself in Elizabeth's room. We sat down together. She insisted we have a drink or she would refuse to confide in me.
What exactly did she want to speak about at such a late hour?
She was distressed. She just found out that I was Sarah de Richet's son and sort of insisted on telling me about the horrors my mother made her suffer. She was convinced she was going to die.
It turns out she wasn't wrong. And what happened next?
Then she told me she had poured laudanum in my glass. The next minute I was on the floor. When I woke up, she was lying in a pool of blood.
That is all you have to say? You expect us to believe that you have no idea what happened to her?
Yes, because I'm telling you the truth.
How can you possibly expect us to believe you?
Gregory, we must consider every possibility. Louis, do you have any idea who could have done it?
А Вашингтон-то тут при чем? Не знаю.
Look, frankly, it's beyond me. I just don't know.
Monsieur de Richet, don't you think it would be in your interest to help us find another suspect?
Блять! Ну,
Well,
давайте.
Even if I can't believe for a single instant that my mother could have murdered someone in that manner, she might have wanted to stop Elizabeth from speaking about their mutual past. And things might have turned nasty.
It is indeed a possibility.
I would like to thank you
Охуеть.
for helping us shed light on what happened last night. To be honest, you are not the only suspect. I'm prepared to believe you were drugged. Our poor Elizabeth hid the stuff everywhere, and I could smell laudanum on you 3 yards away.
So you knew it wasn't me from the start?
We weren't sure. Louis, I am sorry, but everything points in the same direction. I only know one person on this island who might have had a big enough grudge against Elizabeth, who has no alibi, and whose behavior is, well, suspect. Not to mention dangerous.
Tell me what happened before my arrival. I think I've been patient enough.
You don't need us for any of this. So come along, Monsieur Peru. We are leaving.
Right. It's time we
Неужели? Давайте.
She isn't missing, you know.
What? What do you mean?
My mother has left traces in every nook and cranny of your island, my lord. She's definitely here. Now, what worries me most is why she doesn't show herself.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities, and yours, in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the canon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Did my mother intend to finance a war? I'm not sure that I follow.
No, your mother's aim was not so much to partake in a war, but rather to make Monsieur Bonaparte accountable. France is in turmoil, and having the support of a military man can often come in handy, Louis. You'll see. Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play, and I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Интересно.
If by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what is said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
И покупателя чего?
If only my mother trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
As head of the Order, secrets are her bread and butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm sure that Sarah will explain everything.
А я почему-то ему так легко прям бы не доверял.
There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Her not coming back to the manor after so long makes me wonder if she is wary of someone.
Well, certainly. But whom?
Ты
The only
ёпте.
ones who were present during her stay were Sir Gregory, Duchess Hillsborough, Mr. von Wollner, and myself.
Ёпте.
You forget Elizabeth Adams, my lord.
That's true. But Gregory and I arranged it so that they wouldn't run into each other. I thought it had worked. Do you think that your mother felt she was in danger because of Elizabeth?
It's possible.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord. What did you talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jassy, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
My mother must have undoubtedly taken great pleasure in these exchanges. She always was one to appreciate broadening her knowledge.
В отличие от нас,
I'm
тупиц.
surprised she didn't get you started on the
Тупицы.
Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Unfortunately, my lord, the Crusades are not my chosen field.
Well, it doesn't matter. You have plenty of time to learn. Your mother is a very well-read woman. You're quite lucky to have her as a model, Louis.
Yes, I know, but I'm still very worried.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister.
А, значит, это было прошлое.
And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the manor. Mother shot Emily's sister? The very person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me, but between that and the childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation, until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs.
Охренеть.
Thank you.
Что-то даже, если честно, и сказать особо нечего. Складывается ощущение, что в натуре матушка могла головой подъехать. Но я в это не очень верю. Так, башенную комнату. Но не сюда. Так, давайте сначала посмотрим. У нас тут какая-то туча всякой говна ответила. Появилась. Дополнительный манускрипт. Вы доверились матери. Выпили с Элизабет Адамс, пока не опьянели. Психология. И вы убедили всех, что не убивали. Убеждение. Тут вот это допрос плюс 2 очка у нас открылось. Все остальное вроде было. А, не, во. Убирать половину неподходящих. Да-да-да. Так, навыки. Ну, тут ничего интересного. Так, предметы. А я ж могу дополнительный. Это видно в следующий уже. Ладно. Так, а как нам найти башенную комнату? Где-то же должен быть подъем, да, туда? Так. Ведущий в гостевые комнаты. Фига, тут как удобно. Угу. Подождите. Вот. Давайте к ней попробуем. Может, она нам что скажет. Нет. Эх, 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 эх. Жаль, жаль. Непонятно. Так, а как нам попасть тогда в эту башенную комнату? Хм.
President George Washington.
Непонятно. Ага. То есть нам здесь надо именно ее найти. О! Это мы куда-то заходим. Так, и что это? А, да, это башенная комната. Так.
There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting.
Уже в комнате.
She says we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Так.
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured. What is this disc? St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Я чувствую, тут мы, конечно, залипнем надолго. Какие-то монеты коллекционные. Непонятно, кстати, что они делают вообще. Что, заперто, что ли?
I think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor. Open sesame.
Взломаем, да и все. Че, мы просто так, что ли, детективом становились? А, нет, взлом, по-моему, не детективом. Ну ладно.
It's open.
Да ёб твою мать.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean? So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere, and it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe? So we have the figure 11 twice underlined, and a story of a group of pilgrims who it looks like Paul is speaking to. Maybe it's a code. There must be a connection. A text on Paul must be somewhere.
То же
and
самое.
it must be associated with the figure 11. But what's the story with these pilgrims? I mean, a connection with the figure, maybe? Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni.
Нет места для якорцов. Удивительно.
Fragment of amber. Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust. St. John, painted by Guido Reni.
Ни хера не ясно.
The New Testament.
О,
I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy. Oh, wait, a note from Mother is carefully folded between the pages here. What does it say? Dear E, I'm glad you found this note. I was afraid the code of the two groups of pilgrims would mislead you. Pick up the package. You know where, and hide it where no one will find it. It's imperative, awaiting your
там
reply,
кто-то идет, по-моему.
hidden behind the youngest apostle. What? The youngest apostle? What does Mother mean by that? A drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit, who appears here in the guise of an angel. There's something else behind this painting. It says, half of each group will join the first city of Corinth. What the hell does that mean?
Как все сложно-то, а?
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Семь. Мне аж интересно, что там. И все? Так.
St. Paul painted by Guido Reni. Of the four apostles shown in this piece, Paul is the only one who isn't an evangelist. He is the 13th apostle.
Так.
St. Paul is
Нет,
showing
тут уже
us
все то же самое идет.
Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean? There's nothing worth noticing here. It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years. No, nothing of value here.
Сейчас мы будем залипать.
On the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew. Looks like it's been taken down recently. But wasn't my mother said that she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle? Ah, of course. There's something written behind the painting. On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add 1 companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
Действительно, блять, объясните нам, пожалуйста, кто-нибудь.
They should add a companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their ranks. I imagine it applies to their code, the one Mother set up with the pilgrims. What's this? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, and now John is telling them prophecies? St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard. Hey, wait! That means it's him. He's the youngest apostle.
Да это мы уже выяснили.
Right. This painting is therefore associated with the answer which E had to give to my mother. Now, I just need to know how to recover the answer. It's St. John, painted by Guido Rini.
Так, еще раз. Что там было? Подумать о коде.
They should add a companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their ranks. I imagine it applies to their code, the one Mother set up with the pilgrims. What's this? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, and now John is telling them prophecies?
Я нихуя не понимаю. О, хоть что-то, может, полезное. А, блядь, серьезно, и все? Мне кажется, надо искать 1 и 3.
And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore.
Ну, может, и не 1 и 3 надо найти. Ох ты, ёб твою мать, как это все сложно. 1 слева, 3 справа. Может, тут в книжках что-то, нет?
Dante's paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays. Several portraits of apostles,
Может быть,
all
здесь?
signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
А, мы с этим ничего сделать не можем, да? Ой, ладно, я ни хера, короче, не понимаю, что происходит. В следующий раз, может быть, соберемся. Хоть как-то башка заработает, потому что, если честно, уже подустал. И что-то как-то прям вообще в логику никакую не сходится то, что мне предлагает игра. Я не понимаю, у меня вот просто в голове сейчас забито то, что у меня 1-3. И, наверное, мне, скорее всего, в книге-то и надо это найти. Ладно, все, в задницу. Спасибо большое за просмотр. Ставьте лайк, если вам понравилось. Если не понравилось, пишите в комментариях, что именно. Когда-нибудь я их прочитаю. Может быть, я вам отвечу. Подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте колокольчик справа подписаться, чтобы всегда быть в курсе новых выходящих видео. Еще раз спасибо большое за просмотр. И пока!